Hi. Is better? Yes. Alright, thank you very much for your attention. So, ladies and gentlemen, today I do the presentation. I'm a last, but not least. So, today's presentation, Citius, altius, fortius, this is the title. This is not from me. This is the slogan from the New Ages Olympic Games from Baron Coubertin, who established the New Ages Olympic Games. And Citius, altius, fortius means faster, higher, and stronger. So my motto is every day in the competition, teach you something and training for the next competition. Short introduce about me. I don't want to read, you can see. I'm Peter Simonics from Hungary, so I am almost on the stage more than 30 years. It's hard to say. I am almost 60. I am belongs to the Master Cup. I'm not so happy with it. So you can see my career. What I'm proud of, I wrote a book for the paraglider pilots. The wings of the wind. This is Hungarian, and this is, I think, it's very nice and useful. And what I'm proud of more, I'm still here on the stage. So if I am honest, I never belongs to the absolute top pilots in the PVC or whatever. But I am always on the stage, perhaps in the back corner, not in the spot of the reflectors, but still 30 years I'm on the stage, so like it's about furniture. Yeah, exactly. So why I'm saying that? Because I'm organizer, task setter, team captain. So I think I know more or less all aspects of the paragliding competition. And quite funny is I have seen how growing our sport, how developed our sport in the last 30 years. It's really interesting how changed the rules and everything. So, anything what you hear in this presentation based on my personal experience in the last 26 or 27 years. The next year I will celebrate my career because my first competition it was in 1992. Yeah. In Bradford with Zlato Vanic, and I know the first PVC generation. I remember the yeah. What you?
Photo?
No.
Or with the GPS?
For photo, I remember the discussion in the PVC in 1997 in Bradford as well, when we were talking about is allowed to fly with GPS or not. It was a question. You can imagine? And we used the photo sector, but I remember in 1992, I remember the big Slovenian first generation, Domen Slana, Aleš Schuster, Bojan Marčić. It's amazing. It's amazing, it's the history. Okay, I am old, let me be a little bit sentimental. Okay, so today's presentation, just few information. This is the cutted version. Normally this presentation more than 2 hours, and but due to limited time I made a cutted version. And the pictures appear different kind of faces or good athlete faces, and this is some kind of inspection. I am really respect of them, and I will introduce you. And today's presentation for beginners and the advanced pilot as well, competition pilot, and a little part for the professional pilots as well. The first part, we are talking about a little bit ourselves, who we are, about the flying safety and success and failure. And the second part, few advices. I try to give you few useful advices, and I try to show you some typical situations how you can recognize. So, let we go. The first of all, competition is not mandatory. So you should accept that. Not for everyone. Exist two type of human people. The first type, it's oriented for the success and try to go the hard way. Another one who try to avoid conflicts, very peaceful, and he's satisfied with everything, everyone, very peacefully. So, first of all, your challenge, you should recognize where you belong. You know the situation where you drive your car, and once you can see in the mirror somebody wants to overtake you. And until this point, you drive normally. But at this point, you change your mind. Something happened and, no, I don't live in China. Slowly push the gas. You know the situation? I don't leave him or let it be him a little bit harder. You know the situation? Be honestly. Hands up, who did it? Hands up, who did it? Okay. Hands up, who did not? Guys, you are not belongs to here. The bar is open. Go. Who did it? Who did it? That is the reason why you are here. This is the wish, the comparison. So, out of the jug, I want to make clear for you how necessary use your basic instinct. Don't forget the human people, the human population, just the last few hundred years live relatively safely and comfortable. Before, thousand and thousand years ago, it was a question alive or die, how you use your senses, how you smell the smell of the predators. You know what I'm talking about? So it's very necessary. Use your instinct. It's really necessary. Those instinct is not disappear. Just hide it somewhere inside you. The very nice civilization. Thanks for the civilization, but it still exists. Use it. Okay, this is your first challenge. Recognize where you belong. So I would like to ask you something. If you should say one or two words, what you think is most important, consider most important in the race, in the competition, what can be it is? I am waiting for your suggestion. Girls, men's, drinks, wind, good weather, what? What do you think? Survive. Igor, you're right. And?
Fair.
What?
Fair.
Fair.
Fair competition.
Okay. Anything else?
Learning.
Learning? No? Is better? The safety first, guys. This is the basic rule which overrides everything. Such important. Now,
I write to my hand. Just, and then I can always remind myself, safety first. Have you seen
the Zoom interview with Krigan Maurer? He has a special secret, one of them, and he wrote his glass finger different kind of instructions for different kind of situations. No? And the gloves, yeah, the finger of his gloves. Yeah, so the safety first. This is the most important thing. This is what overrides everything. Every strategy, every tactics, everything. The safety first. Because you can have plenty more fish in the sea competition days of your life, but you have only one life. Never forget it. And for the accident, need only 1 second, but recovery, it really, I think, more longer as sometimes you think. Weeks, months, years, even never. So this is the first basic rules, and always keep your mind. It's not enough just to say yes, it's safety first. You should keep always in front of your eyes and in your head as well. So if we are talking about the flying safety, I would like to touch this topic. What components build the flying safety? So the flying safety has two components: the active parameters and the passive parameters. I have a laser stuff. Doesn't work in the resolution. Okay, so but I can explain you. So you can see the coordinate system divided for quarter. And the horizontal axis indicate the passive parameters. I mean, the passive parameters, the values can be how safe your wing. From left to right, from here the unsafe gliders, and to the right, to the more safe gliders, and first the CCC class, and then the D, and then C, B, and the A. So this is the passive parameters, mostly about the wing, because yes, of course, it's also important how big your protector, but mostly about the wing. The vertical, let's say, indicate the best active parameters. I mean, the pilot skill, how experienced the pilot. I mean, as we see, the values can be the flying hours, yearly and overall. The main target is you should find your position in this coordinate system, where you are. If you recognize you miss the active parameters, try to focus in the passive parameters. Change your wing for safe. The main target is you should avoid this red zone, which means it indicates the accident. So it's quite logical and kind of quite obviously the sign in this nearby this horizontal axis, its sign is negative. So, and the pilot skills as well. You can combine that pilot with an unsafe glider. It's very obviously there will be accident. The accident is not question. The question is only when. In the takeoff, after 10 seconds the takeoff, or 30 seconds or something. If I want to be maximalist, I add to this coordinate system the third dimension. The third dimension can be the weather. Okay, the weather forecast recognize the good and bad weather belongs to the active parameters. But let me suppose the bad weather is somewhere here. And you can imagine what happened with the less experienced pilot, with the unsafe glider in the bad conditions. It's quite easy. So, and your position year by year is changed. Because perhaps the last year you didn't have enough time and you flew just 40 hours or something like that. Okay, and never forget, you never continue where you stopped. So always you go a little bit back, regardless your experience. That if you have, okay, 1,000 hours, perhaps not. But usually if you have less hours in the previous years, you don't continue where you start from there. Right? So, yeah. Yesterday, Adele explained you very perfectly about the flow. Just a little bit detailed figure about the flow. And I just like to show you the quite interesting parallel with the flying safety and the flow. So if I combine it with the previous figure, it's quite easy to recognize the flow, the safe fly zone. Michael Csikszentmihalyi, who was the first who wrote about the flow, they and his team didn't know nothing about the paragliding. I think this is my personal opinion. The flying with the paraglider, the flow is on. I'm just kidding, but you know what I'm talking about. So it's very how comes together the flow and the flying safety. You can imagine I'm flying with a nice wing, the nice weather, so that is the flow on. It's quite clear the figure. Okay. So let's jump to the competitions. What we hear about the competitions? I should say, I don't know how many, approximately more than 100,000 registered pilots are in worldwide, but only 10% of them who know something about the competitions. Another 90% don't care about at all the competition. The speech, they have really hard and exactly opinions about the competition. The speech, they never took a part in any competition. So that is the simple reason why we hear it's mostly pejorative things about the competition. As I mean, like dangerous, expensive, pointless, and plenty of time if you want to result. But then why are we going anyway to the competition if we hear different kind of bad things? Why are are you here? So I collected the main reasons why the people are coming to the competition. So some funny motivation as well, because in the not last year, perhaps 2 years ago here, when Hungarian pilots coming, he was coming to here, and it was a surprise for me. And oh, Peter, yes, the competition, oh, competition all over, yes, yes, yes. And somehow he's disappeared, and I asked, what you do? You are in a competition or not? And then, oh, Peter, I'm honestly, you know, a competition, yes, but you can't imagine what it means for me 1 week away from my wife. it's a acceptable reason why somebody comes to the competition, but I think it's not enough good motivation for the competition. So, but if you come to the competition, you can learn more effectively, more efficiently, because you are in a really special situation. Why? You are in the good company, let me say, yeah, in the good company. You can see, you want to see how the better pilots do the task, even the best pilots. And beyond your own decision, you can see their decision as well. Is it not enough? Because you can see the result of the decisions. And you can compare immediately. You can see this way right, this way no, and then. That is where you are in really effective efficiency situation to learn. This is a simple reason. If you are 1 week if you take a part in 1 week competition, you learn more as you fly 1 month free flight. It's sure. Another reason is, this is a really objective, real answer about your performance, because you think something about yourself, your performance, and then a few days after appear clearly the results, and you can compare the reality. The group cohesion, commitment. So, if you are in the competition, perhaps you know, I know this Socha Valley very well, but perhaps not all part. And in the competition, you can fly with the group absolutely unknown, over unknown territory, what you do not by own. Another reason is the prestige, because if the prestige comes together with really content, I am a competition pilot and you are really, so it's a really prestige. Another experience of success. Perhaps you will have experience when the applause comes to you directly. Perhaps tomorrow will be the competition. So, and you know the new places. So this is also very important, and try to learn every places where you compete. So, and about the competitions. So, please be seriously, because take seriously this information, these instructions, because if you are coming to the competition, prepare yourself ready, physically and mentally as well. This is some kind of respect for the competition. And if you are in the competition, respect other pilots, respect the organizers, and respect, of course, yourself as well. So this is not place. If anyone think about the paragliding competition and come to here, it's a big gang, and then with ring, beer, everything, and then I leave my stress, and no, it's not place. It's hard work. It's a hard work. The speech, 1 week competition, which is hard work. After the competition, your battery will be full of energy after the competition. But not the place for the party, and you know what I'm talking about. I think it's very clear. So, okay, if you want to be like them, like a professional pilot, let's get to know them. And the pictures, John Sylvester, I think you know them. Everybody know them? Yeah. No? You don't know them? Wow. Unfortunately, in the present, he died, but not due to the paragliding accident. I think he had a heart attack. He's a British pilot. I was competing with John a few PVC competitions at the end of the 90s. He was a very lovely and friendly guy. So he's a pioneer of the really high mountains flying in the Karakoram and the Himalaya. He made a really nice journey with tandem and solo wing. If you want to see about his life something, you can search in the computer the Birdman in Karakoram, and so I recommend it's very nice. So he's John Sylvester. I'm really respect him. So let's get to know. I don't think so. I should introduce the guy in the pictures. I think, huh? Who's this? Gregory Peck, the famous American actor. Okay, Igor don't know the guy. So let me see what characterizes a good athlete. High self-confidence. The concepts are below. Concentration skills, commitment, and anxiety management, and he learns from the mistake. This is the most common characterized for the good athlete. The source from James Wooden, it's a very famous American coach and sport psychologist, and he wrote the book, many books, but one of them, the Pyramid of Success. And this is the main characterized for the good athlete. Let me see one by one. Self-confidence. So it's a high self-confidence. No, the successful athletes have more as the less ones. Look at the pictures. I don't like the football anyway. I like the good football, but not. So, here's Cristiano Ronaldo. What he do? He prepared himself for the next penalty. Yeah? It's quite clear. What he think now? He think about, so, I have already 100 successful attempts. Now will be the 101. What he used? It's quite simply. He used the basic formula of the probability calculation. Yeah? Probability calculation, yes? Yeah, okay. The basic formula of the probability calculation is the favorable case divided by the all case. If I have 100 attempts, it's very likely the 101 is being successful again. You think this. You don't think about what's going to be if I will miss. Adele yesterday, she told very, very well. If you don't want to hanging on the tree in the competition, don't think I don't want to hanging on the tree in the competition. You remember? Yeah, she was right, 100%. That is what I'm talking about. Concentration skills. It's very necessary. Regardless what you do, it can be the windy takeoff or the stoke thermal or anything. It's very, very necessary. And the successful athletes can close out the external impulses and they can focus in the challenge. That is very necessary in special situations, sometimes in your flight. Later on I will show some situation where it's very necessary your concentration skills. By the way, in the pictures, Fabian Cancellara is one of them, the best road bike race biker. He's a winner of the Vuelta and Tour de France and a few big competitions. So the concentration skills is very, very necessary. Go. Commitment. Yeah, I respect them. I really respect them. You know the guys? Napret. Who's Napret? I remember he was here 2 days ago. He made a presentation. And the middle, Bojan Gabersek, is a really professional Slovenian pilot as well. Just those are only part of the professional Slovenian pilots, many of them. Thanks for God. I am really respect the Slovenian pilot, not why I'm here. So I am really, because we are very lucky. We are coming to Hungary, 6 hours drive from Hungary to here. And one of them, the best paragliding nation, is very close of us. So we can learn the best, one of them the best on the world. So, Napret, Bojan Gabersek and Primož Suša, over the 300 kilometers out and return world record, I think, made a photo by Bojan Gabersek. I hope, yeah. Yeah, that is it. So, the commitment. I mean, yes, you can read it, but about the commitment. So it's very necessary because the good athletes think always about on sport. And on sport is manifested in their life. And so it's everything around the sport, on sport. This is the commitment which is very, very necessary as well. Adele also yesterday touched this topic, the anxiety management, which belongs to the flow. So you can see the figure, and the anxiety management is a good skill for a pilot because he can transform the negative energies for positive energy. You can see it's somewhere here is the optimum stress, what the good athletes can use to growing his performance. It's also belong to the flow. And these skills is very, very necessary, for example, by the windy takeoff. You have an anxiety, and then you change your mind, and then you try to make a positive energy from the negative energy. Last but not least, as well, he learns from mistakes. You know, Roger Federer, one of the best tennis player ever. So, the successful athletes can learn his mistakes, but it's not enough. They can't overcome the mistakes. It's very necessary. Not just, well, yes, I did a mistake. No. He learned from his mistake, but then he can step over. It's very necessary. Of course, it's perhaps on the high experience that self-confidence. Okay. Another from James Wooden, The Way of the 5L. I mean, learn, labor, love, laughing, and live. And the pictures, let me be a little bit crude, of my daughter and the pictures. Rita Simonics, she's a member of the Hungarian junior triathlon team, so I'm really proud of that. Not little, right. So, the learn. If you fly, learn, it's an endless way. You never can say, I know everything about the fly. No. So you are not bird, you live in the earth. And is it not our natural environment, the air? That is a simple reason that birds have more than 30 million years of advantage. Perhaps can be the simple reason why I never see birds with a risky glider. But I saw a few paraglider pilots. So, learn, it's an endless way. Labor, it's work. It's also very necessary. Don't forget, your skills help you to reach the summit. But your condition, what keep you there. If you want to stay on the top, you should work. Lot of work. The love. What can I say the love? Hands up who never fall in love. Huh? You know what I'm talking about, the love. It's love when you're thinking always about your lover. Your lover is the paragliding competition. You think always dreaming about that. And how can I say, between two competitions you organize the next one. So this is the love. Always think about your lover. Laughing. It's also necessary. Be fanatic, but not too fanatic. Take it easy. It was one slide. Take it easy. Don't be too fanatic. Otherwise, the people behind your back will show you something wrong with this guy. No, avoid this situation. Be fanatic, but not too fanatic. And another is live. If you set the target, set the goal, I want to be there, or I want to be reached there, or something like that, and you should know the way how you can go there. If you recognize it's not your way because too long, too short, too hard, too easy, recognizing time and live it. Live it. Try to find another way. It means it's not. It means you should give up the sport. No, just try to find another way. Don't be too. How can I say? I don't know this right word. I'm sorry for the English pronunciation. So, don't be too fanatic. Finally, the formula. The W with R5L plus SB. Wow. The W is not so hard, not so complicated. It's the wind, the formula for wind. I got the 5L. The 5L, I explained it right now. Plus SB. What can be this? SB. Some beer. Great. Great. Anything else? SB. The speed bar. I'm just kidding. But I just like to make clear nearby any kind of psychological background and everything. Don't forget it's the competition, and you should put the speed bar. Yeah, so just a half of job. Let's be serious. Push the speed bar. Yeah. So let me see what the professional pilots do better than we. So the common things. So they are less disturbed by the external conditions. Doesn't matter, it's a gaggle or many people on the takeoff. They can close up as visually and verbally impulses, and they can do on way. Predict that the lifting zone is faster and better than anybody else. Predict that where is the next thermals. And then they find the curve faster, like anybody else. Flying more effectively in the thermals. They know the different kind of thermals. How can they fly more effectively in the thermals? Another is they use mostly own decision, and in any kind of situation they can decide it really fast. They can recognize the situation and the possibilities of the situation. They recognize immediately it's open this way or this way. So it belongs to this. It's a really high improvisation skills. Of course, behind these concepts is it some really big set of knowledge. I mean, I'm talking about the flying intelligence. Flying intelligence is the snap of knowledge and the skill what you can to use for fastest and likely successful decisions. You have a big set of knowledge and you can choose the best decision really fast and likely it's very successful. You know what I'm talking about. This is the flying intelligence. So, and another thing is they can fly more efficiency in the gaggle. Some people has afraid in the gaggle flight, but it's one point which is very important if you want to be progress in your paragliding career. So, end of the first part. I checked the time. So, let me see what we call success. Success is really peace of mind. You do everything what you can, what you're able. And but it's a good question what you can. It depends of your work. Do you remember the level and then? So it depends of okay, I do everything what I can, but the question is what I can, how working for it. And another thing is the success and the failures is born within, always within. Okay. Come the second part. When talking about the schedules, I try to make clear about few typical situations in the air and some closing words, closing things. Yeah, the schedules. Earlier yesterday touched this topic as well, but a little bit another aspect is this. So we have two different kind of schedules: the schedule of the competition and schedule in the day. Schedule of the day. I mean, why is this important? The schedule, like an armchair. If you build up your schedule, you can always come back and feel yourself safe and comforted. So let me see. The schedule of the competition. The first days, it's a time when you can tune your brain and yourself to the competition, the atmosphere of the competition, and you can realize the power of balance, the level of the pilot, and you can recognize, of course, it depends on the pilot's level, your position, and you can think about your chances in the competition. It's very necessary to try to do the best in the first day, because if it's a good entry, if you fly very well in the first day, it's a really good motivation for the next days. If you fly not so very well, or you have some failure in the first day, it's not the best entry in the competition. You lost your motivation, and it costs a lot of energy to stand up. So, in the middle of the competition, a few days after, the difference will appears. What you think about yourself, about your performance, and what is the reality. And if you use this info as a basis in this info, you can see your estimated final results. And set your goal. What I'm talking about, what can be the goal? I want to be first. Not really. You should set the real goal. But later on, one situation, I will return a little bit here, because it's set your goal is depend of what you want. For example, if I want to be in the first 10, I want to be in the first 20, I want to be in the podium, or I want to be first. Your goal, if you set your goal, is depend of your strategy. And the last days, if you know already we have only 1 day or maximum 2 days, and then try to focus in the final result. Recognize what is your real chances, and try to set the real goal, and focusing the final results. But it's very necessary as well. You are so tired after 5 days. This is not coincidence. The FA rules says in section 7, 6 consecutive competition days should be 1 rest day, regardless what kind of weather is. Yes, I have no right? Yes. Yes, 6 consecutive days, yes. Okay, this is the schedule of the competition. Let me see the schedule of the day. 3 parts. Prepare yourself for the day, and then the competition flight. Just few hours on the day, this is not so long period. And after landing, let me see. Prepare yourself. If you are in the competition, try to follow your daily routine. Don't do anything different. Do the same breakfast in the same time, and try to. This is the armchair, the very comfortable and safe armchair. And this where you can go back and you feel yourself again safe and comfortable. Being in time in the transport is also very necessary. Use the same place to prepare your stuff in the takeoff. So you need the fixed points. Why important is? Because the fixed points give you the safety. And regardless what happened, always you can come back to the safe points. And this is what give you the safety. You can return to the chair. Think of leave the time yourself in the takeoff. Prepare. This is the reason why you should be in time in the transport. Don't rush. You need the time to prepare your stuff, everything, check everything. So it's cost of time. And another thing is it's very necessary, because this they calculate with at least 15 minutes plus for your estimated takeoff time, because you will not take off at the time what you planned. Something happened. For example, some pilots involved collision and others in the takeoff, or the wind change or whatever. So you should calculate at least 15 minutes. Be ready 15 minutes, your estimated takeoff time, and the takeoff, and close to launch, close to the takeoff and the launch. So before, try to be a little bit alone, and try to make some kind of imagination, think of the task a little bit. And this kind of imagination is also not a coincidence, it's not a bullshit. The imagination, if you think visually how models I told yesterday. So it's trying to help you recall the special brain wavelengths when help you to focusing your attention more sharply in the activity. Have you ever seen when the acropilot play in the ground the flights before? Yeah, this is smiling. Yeah, this is not coincidence. This imagination, it's some biomechanical procedure. It's not bullshit. Please don't think about this too scientifically. Not. It's true. It's true. So, and of course, don't be late, because if you miss, you will miss the pylon or the takeoff, and then escalate the circumstances, escalate and then be worse. The competition flies with three parts: the window and the start pylon fly between the turning points and the goal and the retrieval. This is the competition flight. But if you just, this belongs to the Yost presentation, I think mostly the instruments has different pages. Yes, I'm right. At least 4, 5, 3 pages, and I think it's very good deal if you can setting your instruments in different kind of pages with different kind of informations. Yost, he say the people mostly use too much to navigate nav boxes and the screens. So try to setting your instrument. The first page, the all information about the pylon and the beginning of the task. And the second page, setting the information, the important information about the turning points. In the third page, you should use the all information about the goal, the gliding ratio and the distance or altitude or whatever. So I think it's a good deal to setting for different kind of activity within the flight, different kind of information appear your instrument. After landing, so remember, respect the organizers. First of all, track your back. And analyze the day. What happened? What you did well and what you didn't. In the landing, when you close to your stuff, everything, think about, oh, what was good, what was wrong, yeah. Try to analyze, but stay objective. Check the results is also necessary. Charge your instruments, and regardless of your results, turn back to the chair. You did the goal or you didn't goal. You did not the goal. Let's turn back. Go back to your chair. Feel yourself safety. Relax. Next day, a new competition day. So I want to show you some really typical situation what can happen in the competition, especially for beginners, but as with advanced pilot as well. So, in case if you miss the pylon, what can happen? This situation is more seriously for the advanced pilot, who involved the unexpected situation, because they are 800 meters lower as the leading gaggle, and they can't accept this situation. So, normally, my place is within them, and he's nervous and he make bad decisions. So you should override immediately your plan. Remember the good what the professionals do better. Improvisation skills. They can override anytime their plan. So also stay cold-headed. Use your sobriety. Don't be nervous, don't be angry for the glider, for another pilot who push out from the thermos. No. Try to focus in the situation. And, except of course. And try to see the positive side, positive consequences of the situation. Because it's very likely you are not alone in this situation. Perhaps few beginner pilots are all around of you. Try to use them. And another thing is, if you are really low, change your mind. And imagine I am not Mr. Pilot, I am a first pilot really close to the goal. And this is the last thermic, what I should gain few altitude, and then I reach the goal. Change your mind. Don't worry about the guys over 800 meters over your head. No. Change your mind and try to imagine this is the stoke thermic and I should gain altitude right now. So, and another thing is on scale thermal during the day, in the long day especially, or one strong thermal, can you save your day? I mean, if you not give up, and if you are not angry and you didn't make some bad decision and then you will bomb out, perhaps thanks for your concentration skills, what we were talking about, you can gain altitude. Perhaps by the scale thermal or by the strong thermal, you can perhaps not reach them, but you can decreasing your disadvantage. Of course, in the evening, look back what was the real reason how you can evolve this situation, how you missed the pylon. So, bad lines, good lines. As yesterday, I saw the first gaggle, it was in the bad lines. We were in the good lines. So, existing thing. One day for me, one day for you. So, always you should read the air. You should read the therma, you should read the air, where the air must descend, where the descend. And then, if you are in the bad lines, recognize this up, and always you should calculate. Yesterday it was a really good sample. The optimized touch, what your instrument indicates, is not always the fastest way. But I think it's more necessary if you recognize you are in the bad line, or I mean the descent or the ascent line. This is more necessary as where is the optimal touch. So, and another thing is, especially in the long glide, is don't change immediately the direction when you see somebody nearby you crossing the lifting zone. No, just listen, round of you, and then you can decide and go left or right. At least it's 30, 60 seconds. You should watch what's going on, which side is better. And especially if you come back in this course, it's not at all sure it will be the same. It's always change. For example, you use this way as the good line, and if you come back, it can be the bad line as well. This is the bad line, good line situation. So, in case the strong thermal, after half an hour flying or 1 hour flying until the pylon, you have already real information about the weather situation. What is the thermal strength, how strong the thermals, the wind, and every information about the weather. And if you touch the unusually strong thermals, it's a good possibilities to make an advantage. For example, yesterday we saw the strong thermal in the corner. I don't remember, between the Kozlov Rock and the Zatomi Valley. It's the standby thermal place. I know what I'm talking about. He's always one strong thermal, and we saw the leading gaggle descend. It was a strong thermal. It's really strong. How strong is it? At least it should be 50-60% stronger as the usually on the day, and the average thermal strength on the day. And it's good possibilities to, if you gain really fast the altitude, and you have a chance to reach the leading gaggle. Why I show you in the next slide. So, but also necessarily you should watch the direction, the wind direction, the higher layer. Perhaps if the wind is blowing from the bad direction, it's not chance to go higher. You should accept, okay, strong thermal, but it's just few hundred meters enough, and then try to follow them. So, try to find the strongest chord in the strong thermal within, and limited time. You don't want to touch the sky. Just 400-500 meter altitude gain, 500 meters altitude is more than them. It's completely enough to reach them. Look at that matrix. So the average speed shows you perfectly if in the thermal it's 1 meter second, 2 meter, or 4 or 5 meter second, how many time you spend with glide, with climb, or with glide. So if the average thermal strength is 2 meters per second, it's 50-50. If you gain really fast altitude by 5 meters per second or 4 meters per second, you should climb only 33% of your whole time, if we see the certain section, of course, within the task. And then you have more time to glide. That is a simple reason why you can reach them. Simply explain. Another typical situation, especially with the beginner competition pilot, when think, especially in the weak conditions, I'm stay a little bit more here. I'm waiting when they go, and then I will see what about the situation. You know the situation? I'm stay a little bit more, just few rounds. Yes, it's typical beginner attraction. So the chances it is work, it's 1 to 10. It's really less. Mostly happen, you will lose them. You will lose them, and then stay a few more rounds, and then you see the descent, and then you are happy. I'm in the right place, and I will show them. It was a good decision. And then, once you see they're beginning to lift something, and that's too late. It's too late. It's too late. You lose them. So you can stay in this lift if is the strong lift case, in case of the strong lift. But it's quite easy to recognizing. But previously you thermaling with 2 meters and somehow be 4 or 5 meters. Okay, you stay. But if the strengths don't change, don't stay there. Go with them. Go with them. The chances 1 to 10. It's really less. Yeah, it can be, of course, because the mathematical chance is existing, but mostly 1 to 10. Just for the beginner pilots, I'm a little bit smarter than stay here more. Well, in case if you involve the bad gang, not the Batch accident, he's bad. I'm talking about the bad pilot gang. Who's a bad gang in the pilots? The bad gang is they have another. They are in another level as you. For example, you miss the start pylon and you try to reach them, but you fly together with the less experienced pilot, and they fly a little bit slower and a little bit different, and it means like as somebody used the handbrake. Use them, love them, and live them. So just okay, try to see the positive side. Okay, they indicate where the thermal cure is okay enough, but don't stay with them. Don't stay with them. Leave them immediately. Use them, but leave them immediately. But you should recognize in time what is in the game. So, in case if you miss the first group who did the goal, you know this situation if you fly direction of the goal and you have 4 more kilometers, and then you can see below you or the first guy will come directly to the goal, and it's very likely they will reach the goal. This is the typical situation if anybody want to make a better result and push the accelerator in the critical altitude. He lost his patience, and I'm going on. I don't like when somebody hit me. No, stay cool. It is no sense to go faster. It's the most typical mistake is when in this situation somebody after the first guy who reached the goal landed before the goal cylinder. It's a typical and it's a very stupid mistake. You should calculate the distance until the goal. It's quite easy. This is the turning point. It's 2 kilometers from here. This is the goal. Okay, 2 kilometers here, 2 kilometers, this is 4 kilometers. How many time is what I can lose? How many points I win? What can I lose? You should compare. And this is, again, your sobriety. And of course, try to reach the goal, but accept the situation. If this situation happened in the last day, and you are in the sixth, let me say, sixth in the overall position, but your disadvantage against the pilots who are in front of you is really less. And you set your goal. You remember when I say set your goal? Your goal is, for example, is depend of you, absolutely up to you. I'm not care about at all who's the fifth. I don't want to be sixth or seventh or fifth or something. I want to be first. If you have a real chance to reach them and for the first place. Or I want to be in the podium. A podium or nothing. That is a situation. Okay, push the accelerator, try to go faster as possible. It's a risk, but if you don't care about you will lose your overall result, don't care about that. But if you set your goal, I want to be in the first 6 or something like that, try to reach the goal. You understand the difference? Okay. So, some advices for the competition pilot, the beginner competition pilot. First of all, I think it's very necessary, but for the advanced competition pilot as well, learn first how you can be in time in the goal. It's not so easy. Not so easy. The first case for this should be ready in the takeoff and time, and should be takeoff in the first part of the field, and that is a situation when you can which can help you to see how the best pilots do. They are in time, exactly in the right place, in the right time, in the pylon. If you can, try to fly with the leading gaggle furthest as long as possible. Don't try to understanding what they do this or this. Don't. Just follow them. Longest as furthest as possible. This is your job. This is your challenge. If you are a beginner competition pilot. Furthest as long as possible. And then, if you slowly lose them, change the gear, handbrake, and try to finish the task. And try to be task safe. I mean the task safe if you reach mostly the task. If you are already task safe, and that is the time when you can go faster. Be task safe, but faster. This is the step by step. And I say always, I told always, learn every place where you fly. It's also necessary because if you learn 10 places, 11 places will be more easier. And and after every place is be easier to learn different kind of places, because typically the mountain style, the flat land, and the combined landscape, so you will learn one by one. So, finally, some closing things for everyone, for beginners and for advanced professionals as well. Try to start at the beginning of the window. I mean, the first part with the field. That is the one key. Be brave, flying in the gaggle. Is it not so easy and a good challenge? Read the air. Bad line, good lines, good turn lines, not so very well. He's thermally much faster as me. So read the air. Make your own decision. Use the speed bar. And always try to find a better lift. If you are thermaling with the gaggle, it's quite easy because you read the air and then you can see where is the best cure. And if you lose, you try something and then you can go back because another pilots still stay there and indicate where the thermal is. But try to attempt a round of the thermal. Perhaps you will find the best cure and then you will gain altitude faster. This is the way how you can make an advantage. So, as I say, don't stay just for a few circles when anybody else already left. And don't think about them. Oh, they are stupid. But I will show. I know I am a smart boy. No, it's 1 to 10 the chances. So during all flight, always analyze your current position, as the professionals do. They recognize what kind of situation belongs to the current situation, what kind of possibilities, what kind of possibilities belongs to the situation, because we gain altitude so fast. Now I don't need to stop in the next mountains. I can fly over. This is also necessary. You should analyze the results objectively. So, for example, the half of the leading gallery yesterday landed in the foot of the Missouri. Some pilot did the goal, and don't think I am better than the professionals who's landed in the foot of Missouri. Try to be objective, realistic. Perhaps your daily results is better than the professionals, but you are not better than the professionals. So, easy to say. I made a mistake, but don't forget, everybody makes a mistake. The winner as well. But the winner is who made the least, most mistakes. Everybody, the winner as well. So, just I want to see the sources, what I use it, but I told already about this. Michael Csikszentmihalyi, the most famous Hungarian professor, Secret of the Perfect Moment, about the flow, I think they knows perfectly. John Wooden, The Pyramid of the Success, is also a very popular and famous book in the United States. Garfield Bennett, just one report, it's not so serious, but I use few sentences. And Flying Fast, the video by Tom Paine. You remember the matrix about the average speed, so you can see in the YouTube as well how can you fly faster. So thank you for your attention. It was all my presentation, and this is my special expert, Jose Luis Torrente. You know Torrente? This is the next one. You should know them. You should know them. So thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, I can tell you something. You are very tired. I don't want to waste your time. The bar is open. I don't want to make happy hour instead of happy hour, happy half an hour. Now you have plenty of time. You can go to the beers. So thank you very much for your attention.